Okay, hi, this is Edie. Today we're going to talk about outfits for women. Alright, now I know over the years, like 20 years ago, I used to dress outlandishly crazy. Well, I was in LA and I figured anything was okay. And I don't know, some of my outfits were kind of questionable, you know. But whatever, I didn't care. And you know, as we grow older and we mature, we tend to get a little bit more conservative, and that's the way it should be, okay? They say dress age appropriate, but when you're in salsa, you know, as long as I don't know, you know, I'm 53 now, and when I go out dancing, I really don't show my stomach anymore. You know, I don't have time to do yoga and go to the gym every single day. You know, and I don't go out dancing that much anymore, so there's a little tiny bit of layer of fat there that I don't want anybody to know about. So I tend to cover that area up. However, when I was in my early 30s and stuff 20 years ago, man, that didn't matter, right? And if you got it, flaunt it, girlfriend, right? But not to the point of where you're intimidating men. You know what's interesting is that women who dress not conservatively, but you know, just a nice simple, a little black dress, you know, is nice, and you know, but the women who dress, I mean, really slutty, like I used to, okay, they didn't really get asked to dance that much. And I noticed that myself. Like, I would wear this really hot outfit that was showing my belly and, you know, strapless and this, that, and the other, and super short little tiny mini skirt and fishnet pantyhose and all that, and the guys didn't ask me to dance as often as when I came dressed right from work. It was crazy. Or when I came more dressed down rather than dressed like a slut, you know. And don't get me wrong, I used to love dressing like a slut. I mean, slut was my middle name as far as dress was concerned, right? But it actually intimidates the guys, and you also feel like a wet trout when you're sweating, and you know, there's a lot of activity going on the dance floor and a lot of aerobics, and you're just sweating like a pig, you know, and he's got to touch that wet stomach and those wet arms and the wet shoulders and everything that's wet, okay? You know, and after a while, it's like, ew. And I didn't realize that was so much the case is when I went to Miami and we were at Gaiocho, which is an outdoor event. And these guys were outside. It was 104 degrees out, you know, 99% of humidity. And they would be outside dancing, and then their t-shirts were just like wet, and I could kind of like tolerate it because it was at least something that I could grab onto, right? You know, whatever, we were all wet. But when they took their t-shirts off, I was like, ew, why don't you just, I mean, okay, you look okay with your t-shirt off, but please, you feel like a wet trout. And when you're dancing at 104 degrees and you gotta hold on to a slippery, wet trout, okay, it's disgusting. And now I could see why the guys just really didn't want to touch the girls that were all wet, because it just doesn't feel that good. I mean, really, honestly, you know, unless you're in a swimming pool, in a jacuzzi hot tub together. But when you're out dancing, sometimes they slip. I mean, I'll never forget, I was so just drenched wet in LA one night. I think I might have said this in another video, that when I went to the restroom and I was sitting down, I could actually feel the sweat dripping from my knees into my shoes, making my shoes soaking wet. And when I was walking back to the dance floor, it was so wet inside my shoes, you could actually feel or hear the slosh, slosh, slosh in my dance shoes. That's how wet I was, okay? And I'm not kidding. God, we used to dance hard. We used to dance so freaking hard. I'll never forget in London when Johnny did a spin. Yeah, Johnny Vasquez. You could see the spray like a lawn sprinkling system come out of his pores in his face and his hair and just completely spray the crowd. It was crazy. I'll never forget that night. Where were we? Bognor Regis, I think. And England. And Johnny just started to spin, shoom, shoom, and it was just like a sprinkling system in a lawn, you know, with grass and stuff. And everybody was like, whoa, you know, it was awesome. But anyway, so going back to dress, okay, God, I digress in these videos. Going back to dress, ladies, do a test. I want you to go really, really super sexy, hot, barely wearing anything to a nightclub, and see how many guys approach you to dance, and see how they dance with you. Also, it's less likely you're gonna get laid dressed like that, trust me. And then I want you to go the next night dressed like relatively conservatively, you know, just not showing too much skin, and see how much they enjoy dancing with you. That night you're gonna get laid, all right? But then I want you to go a third night, and I want you to dress super conservatively, like with the turtleneck on and long sleeves and showing nothing, you know what I mean? And see what happens. You might lose 5 more pounds, you know, from being so hot. But anyway, there's a difference between being hot and being hot, right? So anyway, I hope that's a good tip for the day. Experiment, see what happens in your town. And, you know, those were the good old days for me. I'm going to be the more conservative type anymore. I just feel better that way. And I'm married, so, you know, I don't want to dress like a slut anymore. All right, you guys, have a great day. Happy dancing to you. Bye.